Do you ever come back to a game because of the infinite possibilities it can have? The feeling that the next game might be your best one? TFT, Arena, and recently Era Mayhem did that for me. It is incredibly addicting to pick a champion and try to find the strongest version amidst all the randomness. Or booting up that last TFT game of the night hoping to hit your favorite augments. I wanted the same feeling in my own 2D game. So I stole the system and rebuilt it in Unreal. Hello there, I'm Mysteries. I'm building a 2D fighting game in Unreal Engine 5 and documenting the chaos along the way. Ever since the idea for the game came about, this system just had to be in it. I thought about picking a class and some abilities, but that is predictable and can get stale fast. Ability selection and later augments would fix that. While the gameplay loop is not finished or even set on something, all I had to build to make sure it works is a button that shows what the end of the round looks like, or should look like, no matter how scuffed it looks. I'm not sure about you guys, but I have this friend who always picks the most scuffed choices and somehow makes them work. For me, seeing that happen in other games has made me really give my all into making sure that variety would work here as well. I want some moments where the game forces you to adapt, building something that slowly turns your expectations of how that run would go into the opposite. Here's how the logic for this system should be. I want to gather all the abilities that your class has into a pool of possible abilities to pick from. But I also want to exclude what you already picked so there are no duplicates. After those two calculations are done, it should show you the available pool of abilities. Well, 3 of them at least. From the player side, they see 3 abilities. Click on one and it gets added to the hotbar. From my side, each ability that appears has a name, an icon, and the logic behind that ability. I also wanted to make sure that adding abilities in the future won't be a hassle. That is why all I need is a simple line in a data table in order for it to appear. Now, a few moments ago when I first started this game and kept on stopping and restarting, I already created the system. It was a simplified version with no future proof in it. All it did was go through all the abilities and show 3 of them, then add it. If I wanted it to be future-proof, I need to remake it. But just like every programmer or game developer can tell you, very rarely does something that you build on the first try, which is complex, just ever work like intended. This is where I ran into my first issue. Remember the well analogy from earlier? Well, imagine that the well had doors in it now, and every door was specifically placed somewhere in the well. My plan was to jump in the well, pick 3 random doors to show me what was behind them. Those random doors were picked one by one, so if I randomly picked the door at position 1, I can't just pick it again. It needs to be removed from existence for the time being. So if I were to remove the 3rd door from existence, the 4th door would then become the 3rd door. But I would not be able to pick that door again. Only the position of where the door was. Makes sense so far, right? The problem that I ran into was that the logic in my code was not that. I would jump in the well, pick a door, and I would jump out of the well. Then I would jump in again like an idiot and randomly destroy a door, which was not even the one that I picked. Meaning that I could pick the door at position 1 to show me the fireball skill, destroy the door at position 7, which had the water ball skill, and then somehow still have a chance to pick the same fireball skill door. But me at that time had no clue this was going on. I thought it's simple logic, the same number picked to reveal what is behind the door on that position would be used to explode that door for a time being. I had no clue I was drawing another random number while blindfolded. What was even funnier at the time was that I fixed a different fucking bug before I even realized what the problem was. You see, I added 2 new skills at that time. A generic fire arrow and a shuriken. And just to preface, literally all the art is placeholder. I was picking skills by looking at their ID names, which I briefly set up before. I had no idea that I forgot to set up the shuriken and fire arrow ID. So they had the ID called literally none. And then when I picked one, it got removed from the pool, but so did the other one, resulting in a blank white skill, which to this day I'm pretty sure held no information behind it. With the random ability selection out of the way, there is a new problem that appears. This has less to do with bugs and more with design. Pure randomness is actually kind of trash for some players. If you give people random options with no way to push back, the game might feel like it's screwing them for no reason. Now this does not apply to all players, but certainly does to some. So I added a reroll button. You don't like the 3 abilities you got? Reroll them. A full reroll might also feel a bit bad, since what if you had a decent skill fit for your build in the first batch, but none in the second batch? So I added individual reroll buttons. How about we go back to the well analogy? After those 3 doors are finally shown to you, you can choose to just explode it, and a new one will still be picked for you. That is pretty much it. The logic is not that different compared to the abilities, we just have to remember the choice we threw away and the ones that we already picked, so it does not reappear again. I briefly considered whether or not to remove the choices rerolled for the rest of the entire game, or for them to have a chance to reappear later, but that is a design decision I can avoid for now. Over the years, I have learned that randomness by itself is not interesting. If everything is random, nothing is meaningful, because you never get to play around anything. Your goal here is controlled randomness. You pick a class at the start of the game with a core kit that you like. The ability selection can give you different options, ideas for new builds and combos, and rerolls give you a chance to push for that random idea further. The possibilities are honestly endless. This system is one of the core pillars for the game. Finishing one of these systems feels honestly more rewarding than anything I have ever experienced. Now, for those who are curious about the specifics or want to learn from this little bit is for you. I use a data table that stores all the ability info. The player has an array of equipped ability classes. When it's time to choose, I call a function that builds a pool from the data table, filters out anything already owned, randomly picks 3, and sends them to the selection screen with text and images. When you click one, it calls back to the player to equip that ability and update the hotbar. So that's how I stole TFT's augment system and softly dumped it into my small 2D game. And although I have an augment selection screen as well as a class selection one, currently the code is old and not tied to the current ability selection. So in the future, those will need some attention as well. If you like this kind of devlog, where I actually show the systems behind the game, what problems I ran into, or maybe you are just curious if I can release the game, stick around. I'm going to keep breaking, rebuilding and creating this thing until I have fun playing it. And if you have any feedback related to the game, logic or the style of these videos, please let me know down below.